Purim! Thank you for the intro. Bezrat Hashem, just to get into the experience of Purim. Bezrat Hashem, 5783. Yiratzon, the limud should be Lerefuat Kol HaCholim. ובתוכם תניא בת יהודה מרגלית, יוסף יאיר בן אביבכה, והרב סיבן בן סימה, בתוך כל שאר חולי ישראל. Bezrat Hashem, entering into Parshat Tetzaveh, speaking about the clothing. Parshat Zachor, speaking about the story of Amalek. And B'siyata Dishmaya, a full week of Purim, already feeling it, but Mamash running into a full week, no Fridays, no Purim Meshulash, Mamash a full week of Purim, so there's a lot to prepare. Bezrat Hashem, there's endless ideas. But what we want to focus on, obviously including the hat that we're wearing, is what is the idea of clothing? And when we think about the idea of clothing, we're really dealing with the question of our relationship with how the world perceives us. A lot of times we say, what do I care? I'll wear whatever I want. I'll dress however I want. And that shows that I'm not controlled by the world that I'm in. Moreover, Rabbeinu Reb Nachman teaches that a Talmid Chacham that has a ketem bebigdo, if he has a stain on his clothing, chayav mita. Says Rabbi Nachman, why? Because your clothing are your responsibility for everyone else. And therefore, clothing is the entire story of Megillat Esther. Who's wearing what clothing? If you look in Perek Daled, the switching of the clothing, how it switches the story, the clothing that Mordechai wears, the clothing that Haman wants to wear. So there's a lot of Vayetzeh Mordechai Bilvush Malchut. So this idea of how we dress becomes a centerpiece. And we're in Parshat Tetzaveh that teaches us all about the Bigdei Kehuna, that the clothing become the essence. And obviously, this might be one of the reasons why we have to also think about our costumes, not only how they look, but what message are they giving from us, and how do we want to impact the people around us? How do we want our clothing to speak? What conversation do we want them to give without words? And I think to understand it on a really, really deep level, we have to understand how Purim is unique. In every Chag, when we want to understand its secret, we have to ask, Ma nishtana? Ma nishtana Purim? Ma nishtana Purim, number one, is that Purim is celebrating the past. What do we mean? In all holidays, we're celebrating a historical moment that opened up future opportunities. On Purim, we're celebrating that we were in exile. That's not our future. We're celebrating that we were slaves to Achashverosh. That's not our future. We're looking backwards instead of forwards, which is why it teaches that when Beit HaMikdash will be built and we're living in the future, all Chagim will be canceled. Because that's the future that we were looking for. And the Chagim will bring us there. But Purim lo batel le'olam. Because Purim is our ability to look at the past in a new perspective. To look back at Shushan, at all the things that are so our fault, and change our mindset on them. Gain confidence. Look at our failures and make them into a new story, a new perspective. So, Ma nishtana Purim is that it's about the past. It's not about the future. Ma nishtana Purim, that we celebrate the day after. We're celebrating, we won on Yud Gimel and Yud Daled, but we celebrate the next day. Right? And all the days we left on Tet Vav, so we celebrate Tet Vav. We got the Torah on Vav or Zayin, so we celebrate Vav. Right? Kaf Hey, we have the miracle, so we do it on Kaf Hey. We don't do it on the next day after the miracle. Purim, the miracle happened on Yud Gimel and Yud Daled. We celebrate Yud Daled and Tet Vav. So we're celebrating the next day. There's no other holiday like that. Ma nishtana Purim, number 3, that we need another person to do the holiday. All the other holidays you can do by yourself. Purim, you're not able to. Purim, you need to be able to give mishloach manot, so you need another person. Matanot le'avyonim, so you need the avyonim. Mikra Megillah, you need 10 people. Mishteh, you need to sit around. You cannot do it on your own. And on and on and on. But I think this all connects to the essence of what Purim is about. Purim, on the deepest level, is recognizing that when we use our abilities, we become very judgmental. When we use our minds, we elevate ourselves and minimize others. Purim is about looking at the people around us that have fallen, that are failing, that are failures, and to see them as people that are our definition. They're our definition. Our clothing are other people. We're dressing not in order to control others, but to learn from others, to associate with others, to give matanot le'evyonim yad liyad, to a person's hands, mishloch mayot miyad liyad, from one hand to another. And I think that when we ask ourselves, what's the clothing of Purim? It's the awareness of Am Yisrael is not an option. Am Yisrael is our definition. Mordechai sees that Esther is falling apart. How could it be that Esther's living in the palace and she doesn't know anything? Mordechai has to tell her that the Jews are going to be killed. But he went to Esther because she wasn't doing well. And he lifted and he believed. And he said, I don't know. But that's exactly what I'm going to celebrate. That all the people in Am Yisrael, I don't know them. That's why I have to associate with them. To enjoy the fact that there's so many secrets in the people around me and secrets in myself. Should be Zocha Bezrat Hashem. To wear costumes that are addressing the brokenness in the Jewish people. Addressing it, looking at it, elevating it, davening for it. And really knowing that what we say at the beginning of Yom Kippur is the whole day of Purim. Yom Kippur, we say one sentence, Hareini matir litpalel im avaryanim, that I'm permitting, and we forget about. Purim, we say, Kol hayom im avaryanim, and the avaryan that's within me, because you never know, maybe I could look at it differently, maybe I could lift it, maybe I could change it, maybe I could nafoch. Look at the people that are the avaryanim, people that are failing. Maybe they could change, maybe things could be different. Maybe I have to give second chances. Maybe I have to believe deeper in people when I look back at them. So Manishtana Purim, why do we look backwards on Purim? Because that's where things are broken, and now we have to see the broken as an opportunity to learn. Why on Purim do we celebrate the next day? Because Purim is saying we're not really celebrating anything. Nothing great happens, except for the opportunity to look backwards and change our mindset. On Purim, we can't do it without other people. Because our greatest definition is that Am Yisrael is not an option. It's not an addition. It's a definition. It's the root of Purim. So Hashem shall be zocha, Siyat Dishmaya, to wear costumes that show our awareness of our people, that love our nation with all of its intricacies, all of its challenges. Because that's what defines a real relationship. And that's the clothing that we need to wear.